One of those things may be pressure on Ben Roethlisberger. Let's go back to last week. He was sacked twice by Mario Williams of Houston. This was the first sack, strip and a fumble, and then the second sack. And then Ben told us last night he suffered a separated AC joint in his right. That's his throwing shoulder. Didn't practice Wednesday. Only handed off Thursday, threw a few passes Friday, had a walkthrough yesterday. So what do you expect from Roethlisberger tonight, John?
Playing quarterback in the NFL with a separated shoulder is a very difficult thing, and I think he's going to have problems with his velocity.
Winds are now gusting up to 30 miles an hour, and the officials were told it could be up to 60 miles an hour through the game. The players and coaches I talked to said the worst thing is that they're inconsistent and swirling.
And so Cleveland will receive. The rivalry, these two teams, as we say, separated by about a 2-hour ride. Since 1950, they are 55 and 55 in the regular season. They met twice in the playoffs. The Steelers have won both, and since the Browns were reborn in '99, 15 and 3, and they won the last 9 games. Have the Steelers tonight. Jamal Lewis is the running back, and Lewis on the first play of the game is stopped back at the line of scrimmage, and that's Troy Polamalu, who's all over the place coming up from his safety spot.
Up in the line, look at the penetration that he gets. He just knocks that blocker back 5 yards into the backfield. The Browns had no chance there.
Empty backfield right now. Pittsburgh plays a base 3-4, half for years. Here comes the blitz. Anderson gets it away, and it's caught by the tight end, Kellen Winslow, but he's met immediately by the safety, Ryan Clark.
Aaron Smith, Northern Colorado.
Casey Hampton, Texas.
Brett Kiesel, BYU.
Lamar Woodley, Michigan. James Farrier, Virginia.
Larry Foote, Detroit Pershing, Doughboys.
James Harrison, Kent State.
Ike Taylor, Swaggin.
Ryan Clark, Louisiana.
Troy Polamalu, Southern California.
Brian McFadden, Florida State.
The ball is at the 22-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Anderson down the field and incomplete. The ball sailing, intended for the tight end Kellen Winslow, and so Cleveland starts with a 3-and-out.
Ben Roethlisberger, Miami University.
Willie Parker, Clinton High School.
Hines Ward, Georgia.
Santonio Holmes, D. Ohio State University.
Heath Miller, Virginia.
Matt Spaeth, University of Minnesota.
Marvell Smith, Arizona State.
Chris Kimoyatu, University of Utah.
Justin Hartwick, West Des Moines Valley.
Kendall Simmons, the Auburn Tigers. Willie Perot, Hofstra University.
And Roethlisberger throws this one down the field into the outside and off the outside shoulder of Santonio Holmes, and that's the game's first down.
And he throws it exactly where he wants to the back shoulder. You know, you can lead a guy. If he has a step, you throw it in front of him. If he doesn't have a step on the defender, you throw it to his back shoulder so that he can come back and get it.
I know how they do it, too. From the 19-yard line on first down, Anderson will throw, and that pass is incomplete.
And the other thing is you have to love a quarterback who wears a size 15 shoe.
Up to the 21-yard line, Lewis carrying, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 7. And there's a look at an NBA style. 4 wideouts here. Steptoe came in motion to the inside, and the pass is dropped by Edwards, and there'll be a lot of booing here. He led the league in drops last year. He dropped what they considered 4 passes last week. We looked at it real closely. 2 of them were on target. 1 would have been a touchdown pass, and he starts by having one go through his fingers tonight.
You know, here he is, the inside receiver. You can see him coming up here. He starts to run a corner pattern.
7. Moeldy Moore is in the backfield, and Roethlisberger guns it incomplete. That one was intended for Washington, and Santonio Holmes were both in the same area. Now in Cleveland, where it's 80 degrees, and from the 8-yard line, this drive commences with a 3-yard run by the ex-Raven, Jamal Lewis, who had a 2,000-yard season in '03 for the Ravens. He was maybe the best running back in the league, John, at one particular point. Had troubles off the field, spent some time in jail.
That linebacker or 3rd level, the defensive back, he is very, very dangerous on it.
Here he is again. I miss.
Just swim 1 lap like he does.
3rd down and 6. And that pass is incomplete, intended for Kellen Winslow over the middle. So we'll already have our, from the 33-yard line, here's Roethlisberger on first down. And Big Ben completes that one to midfield. Hines Ward makes the catch, and that's the second first down of the game.
If they're going to get the ball up the field, now is the time to do it. And that's a perfect pass right there.
48-yard line. That was good for 19. That Zastadil punt. 28. Vickers is the fullback, and he will lead the way for Lewis. And Lewis takes it to the 30. Vickers plays a lot. I mean, fullback has become kind of an extinct position. To the outside. And that's Vickers, where we're talking about the fullback, who also goes out into the flat on occasion. And he's tackled there by James Harrison, who was the Steelers' team MVP last year. And it will be 3rd down and short.
Well, they caught him in a blitz. They brought the 2 inside guys. They like to do that on 2nd down.
Offense, number 12. 10-yard penalty.
That's Cindric Steptoe.
Just kind of rubbing, make him redirect a little.
2nd and 18. Over the middle, and that's into traffic, and it's incomplete. He tried to jam it into Winslow, and that's Ryan Clark. 3 wide and 5 defensive backs into the outside, and that pass is incomplete. Into the buffeting wind intended for Josh Cribbs, in a manner of speaking. The Buckeye State, Ben Roethlisberger, grew up in Findlay. He was born in Lima. And then he went to school in Oxford in southwestern Ohio. At Miami between 01 and 03. He's 4-0 against the Bengals in Ohio in games played in Cincy. He's 4-0 in games played in this stadium in his 4 years in the league. The quarter. Parker again, and Parker will end the first quarter with a 1st down. The Jets 19-10 at the Meadowlands. Now Parker again, a steady dose of Willie on this drive. Again, tackled there by Williams, setting up a 3rd down and 1. These are the remnants of Hurricane Ike working their way up yesterday. The anemometer going crazy, trying to get the flag displayed. The opening kickoff, Ike Taylor had to hold it. Sometimes the ball is able to ride the wind, as does that rapper. And Ben Roethlisberger tonight is 4 out of 8, and Derek Anderson is 2 out of 8. First down, Anderson. He's going to air it out downfield, hangs up in the wind and gets intercepted by McFadden, intended for Braylon Edwards, and the ball just hung up in the swirling wind. And the pick right there for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's 1st down. Let's take the shot right now. And again, you put the ball up there in any kind of wind, and it just hangs way too long.
Of whatever it is. 3rd down and 7. Roethlisberger throws, and that's caught by Holmes, and he'll get slung back, but his forward progress nets him a 1st down before Eric Wright makes the tackle, and that moves the chains. They're setting up as a wide out to the right. The pump fake, and Roethlisberger is now going to get sacked for the 2nd time tonight, and a flag is thrown. That's Sean Smith, who backs up and sometimes plays alongside Rodgers, who comes in putting the pressure on, and Correnti will make the call.
Personal foul, grabbing the face. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
And that's a killer, because Roethlisberger went down, and then Smith makes the play, and then blows it at the end by grabbing the face mask.
And again, they don't have the 5-yard variety this year. If you're going to call a face mask penalty, it has to be 15 yards. Sean Rodgers got Ben Roethlisberger by the face mask.
3rd down and 6. They set Washington up to the inside. Here comes the blitz. Roethlisberger has to throw it off his back foot and away, and a flag goes down.
And that was Sean Rodgers. I mean, he just broke through right off the bat, and he was coming right up into Ben Roethlisberger's face. I mean, that's one thing. When Ben Roethlisberger sees that ball is going to come out of there.
And that was Rodgers, who was offside.
Yeah, no wonder he got such a good jump. I mean, he gets off on the ball, and he's right now. I mean, here he is right here. Watch out. I mean, that's a heck of a move. It was just a half a beat too early, I guess.
Roethlisberger stays in the gun, and then the inside handoff to Parker, and that's a great tackle by Brodney Poole.
Yeah, Brodney Poole is a safety, but he plays up around the line of scrimmage like a linebacker a lot.
And then you've got
And they jumped.
McGinnis jumped offside, but they're going to say timeout was called by Pittsburgh before he jumped. And Roethlisberger said, I can't believe it. Who called it?
That was another trick that backfired.
Yep, trickery and deceit will get you nowhere. So you look at the top of the screen, and there he is. There is Tomlin leaning over the official's shoulder, or coming in. Here comes Mike now and saying, give me a timeout. With Parker in the backfield and Davis offset.
Guarantee you Cleveland won't jump offside this time.
And they will run the play, and here comes Parker swinging to the outside, and he gets free around the corner, and Willie has a first down, taking it to the 27-yard line behind Kimeatu, the guard who supplants.
Right here on the end, you see that on Willie McGinnis. So McGinnis can't get up the field, can't set the edge. Then they give him a soft corner, and right here you see where Willie Parker just steps up, dips to the outside, way to the inside. And if they bounce it to the outside, those kind of plays happen.
They pick up the blitz, and the pass is caught by Santonio Holmes. Roethlisberger, good protection, has time, goes to the end zone, and goes right to Hines Ward for the touchdown.
You just had the feeling after Hines Ward dropped that one in the end zone. And here's Hines Ward. He's the middle guy of the bunch. So you have him coming in, one going out, one going short. And there's always going to be, I think it's hard to man that, so you have to zone it. And if you're just pacing.
Jim Brown.
I think when you think of football fans anywhere, Jim Brown is a hero. Jim Brown, one of the greatest, maybe the greatest player that ever played the game.
Persky, Hoke, and Eason are the three men up front. And here comes Polamalu leaping over the top. They pick him up, and to the outside goes Lewis, and that's Farrier making the stop as we come to the 2-minute warning at officially 1:57. With Pittsburgh in the lead, 7-0. To the right. Steptoe goes to the left. And now you got the ball on the ground with a flag.
It is a problem in wind, really, is hearing.
By the offense, inside 1 minute becomes a false start. The question is whether or not Cleveland wants to use a timeout to prevent a 10-second runoff. Operator, please reset the game clock to 54 seconds. To 44 seconds, excuse me.
Into the end zone.
And he has to get it in the end zone quickly.
And that pass is intercepted at the 2-yard line by Polamalu. And he'll take it back to the 16, and that'll make all of that move. Bad management at the end of the first half, and the crowd lets the Browns know it.
Look at the jump Troy Polamalu gets. He's just sitting back there in a zone, reading Derek Anderson, knowing that he has to get rid of the ball quickly. Polamalu gets a great jump.
Totally wasted drive. 7-0 at the half. Bob and the gang from New York on the other side of these messages. Spoken. From the 23-yard line, here's the handoff to Parker. A little spin through the middle to avoid the tacklers, and he takes it out for a first down.
You know, watch what they do to Sean Rogers here. And we talked about, you know, if you're going to run the ball, you have to get that nose tackle. You have to get the middle block. Now, if you get that block, then there's no penetration. Then you can go around him. You can go to either side.
Back to the locker room. 2nd down and 5. Anderson throws, and that goes through the fingers of Winslow.
Troy Polamalu still makes big plays.
Interception on the very last play of the half, and in 3rd and 5, that catch is made by Winslow, who was just about on the first down line as he made the catch, but they're going to spot it behind what would be the first down. Pushing and shoving going on right now, and they're going to spot the ball just short of the 26-yard line, which will make it a 4th down and inches.
Right, on this one here, do you want to bet on Troy Polamalu or Kellen Winslow?
No challenge necessary. So
I know, just saying, a punt return or catching the ball in the wind is like a catcher catching a knuckleball.
Chase it to the backstop. Roethlisberger then goes deep, and that pass is somehow caught by Santonio Holmes. after Brandon McDonald had flashed in front of him, and Holmes comes down with a 47-yard reception.
That's the thing. They had to get a shot. That's a good time to take it. Santonio Holmes is running what we call a corner pattern. You start up, you start to the inside, then you come back to the outside. Ben Roethlisberger just gets it up in the air. Holmes gets way up in the air, and there's no defender there to do anything to Holmes. Yeah, here's Ben Roethlisberger tonight. This is when he first came out stretching his shoulder, and then he started throwing. You know, I thought they were going to be rather conservative. Not sure if he would have much velocity, but I'll tell you, he's passed every test that he's had to tonight. You talk about guys that are gamers. This guy is a gamer.
Now you've got Jeff Reed, who's going to attempt a 48-yard field goal. The wind has died down some, but clearly still a factor. He is kicking with what would be the prevailing wind. And that kick is right down Broadway and good. 7:58 left in the third, and the Pittsburgh lead is 10-0. 4-yard line. Anderson throws, caught. That'll be a first down. Starting to slip, but holding on is Braylon Edwards before Ike Taylor takes him down. The Cleveland Browns last week against Dallas.
A few moments later.
Anderson to Edwards, and he can't hold on again as contact is made, and going down is Ryan Clark. You had Brian McFadden and Clark both. Clark is still down. Injury timeout. Good news, Ryan Clark got up. He went back to the sideline under his own power. Tony Correnti has just called a taunting foul just before we came back from commercial.
It was against the Steelers, and they were in their defensive huddle when they called it.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 51. This penalty is just half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
So that penalty is on James Farrier for taunting during the injury timeout. They took Clark to the sideline. We'll check on him. Tyrone Carter comes in, plays 2nd and 4 from the 5. And Lewis gets wrapped up by James Harrison right there.
It's run situation. And here you see Harrison. He is just he's going up the field. He's going, there's no way Kellen Winslow is going to get him blocked. He's just taking off. They're blitzing both outside linebackers.
On 3rd and 13. He goes the other way, does Anderson, intended for right. That would have been a pass that would have been caught at about the 10-yard line. Crowd hates the call. Look at those goalposts waver. 31-yard attempt for Dawson. And the kick is good. He drew it. Wound up in the rough. That Dawg Pound right behind the goalpost there.
Yeah, they used to know how to do that great.
Yeah, I always said they should rename that section K9.
Yeah.
From the 2. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, they're into it. They can stop him here. They'll really be into it on 3rd down.
Roethlisberger. Deep downfield, right on the mark. Hines Ward
will do what he'll do. Hines Ward will do what he'll do. But this offensive line, everyone worried about it this year. You know, they're not going to be as good.
2nd and 6 to come up with 3 tight ends here. And they hand it to Santonio Holmes on an end around. And Holmes will get a first down, and with a stiff arm, send safety Mike Adams into the Steeler bench and slipping on the canvas.
Right on his right shoulder.
Went right into the right shoulder as Berger's kick is fielded at the 13-yard line. And Cribbs will bring it back up to the 20-yard line, and he gets hammered. And he gets rolled over fairly hard. 2nd down and 6. Lewis goes nowhere. Stopped by Farrier as we tick down to 9.5 minutes left in the 4th. And John, we talked about it a little bit at the open. You're not going to win or lose a division in week 2. 6.5 minutes to go. Anderson under pressure, and down he goes. They were able to thwart the initial surge, but then Aaron Smith has enough time to get in there. The secondary does its job. Browns have had the ball for 6 minutes. Nothing in the middle. Lewis runs smack into the middle of the Pittsburgh defense, including Casey Hampton in on the play. 2nd and 10. Lewis to the 20, and again Cleveland, and obviously a 3rd down play is a key play, but it becomes more and more vital. From the 20, that pass is incomplete, intended for Edwards, and that's blanket coverage there by Bryant McFadden.
You see here the outside receiver, Braylon Edwards, never gets his shoulder inside. You have to get across on that slant. You have to get across the defender's face. And on that one, McFadden,
one of the best kickers in the league, 38-yard field goal attempt. And the kick is good. Game. Fake to Parker. Bootleg rolling right. Stops. Sets. Throws complete. Midfield. Heath Miller, the tight end, to the 49-yard line.
Roethlisberger gets better. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And a timeout taken again by Cleveland. 6. This is Parker. And Parker should stay in bounds, but he's going to go out of bounds, and that's about the only break that they're going to get here. Willie Parker, and you can see he's...
Watch Chris Kimiatu. He's gonna pull that good kick out. A big, strong guy, and he gets on his guy, and he just stays with him all the way. Willie Parker runs right off the block. That makes all the timeouts now academic.
Yep. The only thing that Parker should have done is stay in bounds. That would have kept the clock running, would have taken you to the 2-minute warning, and then they would be 0-2 in the AFC North. 4th and 4. And Roethlisberger will give the ball to Parker to the outside, and he's taken down at the 26. Okay, so you've got one last chance. Now you're going to need 74 yards. It's a 4-man rush. Anderson buys time. He's going to roll. He's going to launch one into the night, and that's going to be tipped away. And that ball obviously is going to draw a crowd no matter who he throws it to. Troy Polamalu back there on the coverage. That play spent 8 seconds. We're down to 18 ticks. To the 26. And there's a sack, and that's James Harrison who got there first, and Aaron Smith who finishes him off. And the clock keeps on rolling, and the ball is at the 21. And can they get a snap away here? And they do, and this will be the final play of the game, barring a defensive foul, and that's the way it ends. And it ends in a very ugly fashion for the Browns fans who watched their team in 2 games at home this year score 1 touchdown. And the Browns are the only team in the NFL that has started the season with 2 home games. Now they go on the road for 4 of their next 5, and they will have to dig their way out of an early season hole.
Right, and we talked about the expectations. Last year they win 10 games, and they were the pick this year that they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be this and that, but they haven't looked like that any time this year.
Wendy's post-game show coming up next. Horse Trailer Player of the Game, Andrea with one of the stars, Bob and Chris as well, when we come back to Cleveland.